What's up, people? Hope you're all doing well. And I am really excited to make this video for you guys. Hope this adds some value to your lives. As I mentioned, I'm Vishnu and I am a yoga teacher. And I just wanted to help you guys out with some information on business. So, now, before we get into video, I just want to make some things clear. So now you have found out your niche and you know your offer and you have tested out your offer with your niche and you got certain result. And based on this result, that means you have a proof of concept. So now that you have the proof of concept is nothing but your success rate based on your offer to the people. So now that you have your proof of concept, now you're ready for the next stage to scale up your business, which is nothing but advertisement. So what better place to advertise than Facebook? Because it has 2 billion users. So we have to make use of that. Right. So there are certain rules you need to play with to win at the game of Facebook algorithm. Now that you have your proof of concept and now we test it into the market with a hypothesis. So we set a hypothesis and we create an advertisement and we post it on Facebook. And based on that, we get certain results. And whichever has produced the best results, we call it Blue Swan. And whichever hasn't created best results, we call it Red Swan. So Red Swan is something that we want to eliminate. We have certain metrics to understand which has performed well and which hasn't performed well. We call that KPIs, which is nothing but key performance indicators. And once again, I'm telling you, if you do not have a proof of concept, you will burn your money alive. And you improve your proof of concept. I want you to improve your proof of concept by doing strategy calls, sales call, knowing more about the market so that you do not lose in this market. So before you invest, I just want you to be aware of that. And money is something really very important for all of us. So, even if we have in abundance, still we need to be very careful. So let's say you want to invest $1,000 onto this Facebook ads. If you have less than $1,000, you better stick to organic methods for your market. And now that you have $1,000 to invest, so there are two things you need to consider. You need to be prepared to lose all your money because we do not know if we get it or not. So be prepared to lose. Only when you're prepared to lose, only then you have the right frame of mind. Or else you're emotionally invested. And when you're emotionally invested, you tend to make very bad decisions. So, second thing you need to understand, Facebook is not a place for emotions. It's a game of numbers. So, by playing this game, it's a very interesting game. By playing this game, you become a master of your emotions. You are no longer attached to the outcome. You're only attached to the KPIs that your ad performs. You're only looking at data to make a decision. You're not looking at your emotions to make a decisions. Just because you think, oh, this ad is very creative, you shouldn't make a decision. You should make your decision based on the data you get, based on like how many people have clicked your ad, how many people have landed on your landing page, who saw your value video, sales video, who has filled up the survey, who has took up your sales call, and who has converted into customers. So you need to look at all the conversion rates and metrics, and based on that, you need to make a decision. So you need to be prepared to lose. So it's an interesting thing. When you're investing money, you need to have a downside to whatever you are willing to lose. Let's say you kept a cap at $2,000. If you hit $2,000, that means you are coming out of this Facebook ads. So that is a cap you are setting. And the graph for this Facebook is like very asymmetrical. You understand that there is a downside and there is an upside. If you invest $1, you could get $5. And if you invest $1, you can get nothing. So there is an upside and there is a downside. If you look at very closely, now that you have set the downside, but the upside is very high. The upside is like limitless. You can make unlimited amount of money. So the downside is lower than the upside. So you understand there is a downside, but you are playing the game where the upside is bigger than the downside. Only then you enter the game. And that is how you map your game so that you win. And you understand that there is a downside aspect where you can lose. Sorry for the sounds around me. I hope it doesn't matter, isn't it? When you're getting value. And now that you know and identified the successful ads which we labeled as blue swans, you need to always duplicate those ads. Or else what happens is like anytime you set an ad and when you release into the market, so it enters the market in these initial conditions and it reaches certain audiences. And when it reaches those audiences, and based on this audience, the Facebook algorithm will be recommending to similar set of people. And after 4 days, your ad is going to die. And in order to avoid that, we need to make certain tweaks in this process. We need to propagate and splice up the DNA of this blue swan. I understand it is sounding very biological, but it's okay. We all have gone through the biology lessons in our childhood and see it is coming to life. Isn't that beautiful? So when you take that blue swan, you need to identify the genotype of this successful ad. And you always need to make slightly different variations to that so that you survive in the market. Nature loves variation. And just like nature, algorithm loves variation. And only when you give variation to the algorithm, it has work to do. I mean, like when I say micro variations, you just have to change maybe the age. Like if you have set the age from 18 to 35, see from 35 to from 18 to 50, like 20 to 50. Slight variation. And even change the budget. Like if you have set the ad for like $10, now set the new variation for $20. So when you change the budget, the algorithm thinks it's a new ad. And then when it reaches the audience, now it has set a new environmental conditions for that ad, and it reaches new people, and then it kind of it kind of distributes to new audiences. So the genotype of an ad is nothing but audience, message, and their age, so and the image. So by using these three variables, you can create an infinite amount of variations to this genotype. Like when you have found a successful genotype, it's very important that you duplicate it, because you don't have to wait till it dies. So you always need to keep changing slightly the successful ad. If you do not change, as you know, stagnant water always smells and no one wants to drink it, and the fish will die. So you do not want to keep things stagnant. You always need to keep changing. You can change by changing the image and keeping the audience and the message same. So you always want to change only one variable. You do not have to change two variables. If you change one variable, you know what hasn't worked. But if you change two variables, you do not know which hasn't worked. So you're lost. And the final thing I want to conclude it is like you want to do this Facebook ads, and if you run Facebook ads without your KPIs, you will end up in disaster. So you always need to know the Polaris star. Like the Polaris star is nothing but the return on investment. So you always need to keep a check on that and make decisions according to that. And the end takeaway I would like to let you know is like it teaches you. I mean, like what I really liked about this process is like, you should be willing to lose. And that is the attitude you need to come in. That is the mental frame you need to come. And the other takeaway would be like, you should never make decisions based on your emotions. You should always make decisions based on data. So the quality of your decisions improve when you make decisions based on data. And you know why you're making the decisions. And you can catch yourself when you are thrown away because of emotions. And you can always avoid it. And you can play with your emotions and data and make a decision. So it's a very interesting sweet spot I liked. And that's intention. It is out of that idea this video has given birth to it, and hope it was informative. Thank you for listening.